Have you ever noticed how quiet can feel heavy? The kettle clicks off, the clock ticks in the hallway, and for a moment it's just you and the stillness. Some days that quiet is peaceful. Other days, it presses on your chest and you wonder when the phone will ring, when someone will knock, when you'll laugh out loud again. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know two things. First, you are not alone, not in feeling this, not in living through it, and not in finding your way out of it. Second, happiness after 70 isn't about waiting for life to come over and entertain you. It's about building tiny bridges back to people, purpose, and moments that make your heart feel warm again. Those bridges are simple, doable, and they work. Let's begin with something gentle you can try today, the 2-minute bridge. It's a tiny practice that turns "I should reach out" into "I just did." Pick one small window in your morning, maybe while the tea is steeping or the toast is browning, and reach for one person. Not a long call. Not a big catch-up. Just 2 minutes to say, "Thinking of you," or "Saw a photo that reminded me of your garden," or "How's your Tuesday?" If the phone feels like too much, send a voice note. Your voice carries warmth that a typed message can't. If it's been a long time and you're unsure how to start, borrow this simple opener: "Hello from me to you, no agenda, just a hello." You would be amazed how many conversations are waiting for that small invitation. To keep the bridge sturdy, give it a tiny structure. Choose 3 days of the week that are easy to remember, say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and place your 2-minute bridge in the same spot each day. Monday might be a note to a friend. Wednesday, a quick call to a sibling or neighbor. Friday, a message to someone you don't know well yet but would like to. You don't have to be perfect. If you miss a day, you haven't failed, you simply build tomorrow's bridge when the kettle sings again. Over time, those 2 minutes grow into threads of conversation, and threads become a net that holds you when the quiet feels heavy. If you're thinking, "But my circle has gotten smaller," that's real, and it's okay to say it out loud. When life changes, children busy, friends moving, a spouse gone, your social map changes too. The good news is you can redraw it, one dot at a time. Start local and specific. The library on Tuesday mornings. The bench near the bakery where the dog walkers pause. The same seat at the community center's coffee hour. Showing up in the same place at the same time creates a rhythm that invites recognition. The first time you nod. The second time you exchange a hello. The third time you already feel like you know each other a little. Familiarity is a shy friend. It arrives when we show up more than once. Now that you've built a simple bridge to people, let's talk about a second way that lifts loneliness in a steady, quiet way, purpose you can hold in your hands. When our calendar isn't full and the house is still, purpose can slip through our fingers. But purpose doesn't need to be grand to be powerful. It just needs to be real and close, something you can do that leaves a small good trace in the world. Think small and regular. Maybe you like to knit. Choose one baby cap a week for the local hospital and place the finished cap in a little basket by the door. Perhaps you enjoy reading, offer 20 minutes once a week to listen to a neighbor's child practice, or join the library's reading buddies where stories and smiles are traded like treasures. If you love plants, ask the community garden if they need help watering the border on Thursdays. The point isn't to be busy for the sake of it, it's to anchor your week to a task that matters to someone beyond you. Loneliness often tells us we're floating. Purpose gives us a gentle weight and a place to stand. If getting out is hard, purpose can live at your kitchen table. Write 2 handwritten notes a week, birthday wishes, a memory you share with an old friend, a word of encouragement for someone who's grieving. Keep a small box with cards, stamps, and addresses so the path from "I should" to "I did" is short and smooth. If your hands prefer keys to pens, record a short story from your life, how you learned to ride a bike, your first job, the recipe that always worked, and email it to a grandchild or a younger friend. You think you're just sharing a memory, what you're really doing is gifting connection across time. That's purpose. Here's something else that makes purpose easier, pairing it with motion. When the body moves, the mind follows. Choose a simple, short route you can walk, a loop around the block or down the hall and back if you're indoors, and make that your purpose path. As you walk, name one small task you'll do when you return, aloud if you can. When I get back, I'll call Carol, or when I sit down, I'll water the fern, or I'll finish the second cap. Movement warms the engine. A named task points the car. The combination often dissolves that sticky feeling of not knowing how to begin. If your energy is low, shrink the task until it fits. Instead of organize the closet, say, sort 3 hangers. Instead of cook dinner for the neighbor, say, chop onions now, the rest later. Small wins don't just count, they compound. Each one tells your brain, I keep promises to myself. That feeling softens the edges of loneliness because it restores something vital, trust in your own momentum. Both bridges and purpose work even better when you let a little sunlight in. Literally. Open the curtains as soon as you can in the morning. Sit where the light touches your face for a few minutes and breathe slowly. Light nudges your body clock, brightens mood, and quietly reminds you that the world is still turning and you're a part of it. If the weather allows, step outside for 2 minutes and notice something specific, the sound of a bird, the color of a leaf, the neighbor's new mailbox. You're not just looking, you're joining. Attention is a doorway back into life. You might notice, as you practice these small things, that time feels different. Mornings don't stretch quite so long. Afternoons have a shape. Evenings bring a soft tiredness that feels earned. Nothing dramatic has changed, you have simply built tiny rails for the day to run on, and wheels roll easier on rails. When your phone buzzes with a reply to your 2-minute hello, you'll smile before you even read it. When you place a finished note on the table, a finished cap in the basket, or a small plant that's just been watered, you'll feel the quiet shift from empty to peaceful. There's a kindness inside these practices that I don't want you to miss. You're not forcing yourself to be cheerful or pretending loneliness doesn't visit. You're opening the door to it, offering it tea, and then gently saying, I have some things to do now. You are allowed to be both honest about how you feel and hopeful about what you can do. In fact, that combination, truth and action, is what turns heavy quiet into light again. There's a tender kind of courage in deciding that your days deserve more faces and more voices. One gentle way to invite them in is to become a regular somewhere small. Not a giant event with a loud room, but a cozy circle where people notice when you walk through the door. Think of the places that already exist around you and run on a rhythm: Tuesday mornings at the library, a low-key exercise class, a choir rehearsal, a watercolor table at the community center, a tea hour after a service, a simple walking group that meets by the park bench. Showing up at the same time each week is like planting a seed in the same patch of soil. Roots form because you keep returning. If approaching new people feels stiff at first, give yourself tiny anchors. Learn one name each time you go and say it back with a smile before you leave. Bring a pocket question that's easy to answer. What's your favorite thing to cook when it's chilly? Or what book kept you up too late last month? People open up when they're asked something gentle and specific. Offer a small compliment that's true, that scarf is cheerful, or I always look forward to your laugh. Familiarity grows from moments like these. It's not performance, it's presence. Choose a simple commitment that feels doable, like a 4-week trial. Tell yourself you're only deciding for a month, then you'll check in with your heart. If the room feels warm and the faces start to look like neighbors, you'll likely want to keep going. If not, you try another circle with the same curiosity. You're not hunting for perfection, you're listening for a place where your shoulders drop and your smile arrives without being asked. Getting there can be its own hurdle, and it's okay to solve that creatively. If driving is tiring, ask the community center about shuttles or ride pools. If stairs are unfriendly, call ahead and ask where the easiest entrance is. People are kinder than we fear when we let them help. If leaving the house isn't always possible, look for a circle that meets by phone or video. Many libraries, senior centers, and faith groups host small discussions or classes you can join from your armchair. It still counts. Hearing a handful of kind voices and seeing a few familiar faces, even on a screen, feeds the same part of you that longs to belong. While you're weaving yourself into small circles, it helps to build a daily practice that steadies the nervous system, because loneliness isn't just a thought, it's a feeling that lives in the body. When your body learns calm, your mind finds room for connection. One of the simplest ways to teach calm is with a breath you can do anywhere. Rest one hand on your chest, one on your belly, and breathe in slowly through your nose while you count to 4. Pause softly at the top, then let the air leave like a sigh while you count to 6. Repeat that a few times while you wait for the kettle or the microwave, and notice how your shoulders sink a little. That lengthened exhale tells your body, you're safe. A safe body makes a friendly face, and a friendly face draws people toward you. Sound is another doorway into safety. Humming a tune while you fold laundry or rinse dishes sends a small vibration through your chest and throat that signals ease. Singing along to an old favorite wakes up memories that make you feel stitched to your life. If you keep a small speaker or radio in the kitchen, let music greet you when you step in. Choose songs from the years that still lift you and build a short playlist, 10 minutes is plenty, that you can press play on when the afternoon feels long. Music gathers scattered feelings and rearranges them into something warm. Prayer and meditation belong here, too, if they fit your life. You don't need an hour on a cushion to meet your mind with kindness. Sit where the light touches your face and whisper a few words you've loved for years, or simply count your breaths while you trace the outline of your fingers with your thumb. If your thoughts wander, that doesn't ruin anything, it proves you're human. Bring them back the way you'd guide a child by the hand, gentle, not scolding. A few quiet minutes each day make it easier to hear the doorbell of joy when it rings. There's a written version of calm that works beautifully when the heart is noisy. Keep a small notebook by your favorite chair and give yourself one line to finish each evening. Today I'm glad I saw, or today I'm grateful I heard. The goal isn't to be impressive, it's to train your attention to notice the good that is already present. A beam across the kitchen floor. The way a neighbor waved without breaking stride. The smell of cinnamon when you opened the cupboard. When the mind learns to collect these tiny gems, it has less room for the story that says you're alone in an empty world. You're not empty, you're observant. All of this becomes even easier when you wrap it in simple rituals. Let the steam from your morning cup be the bell that calls you to take 5 slow breaths. Let the turning of the front door lock be the cue to hum a bar of a song you love. Let the click of the bedside lamp call your hand to that little notebook and the one line you'll write. Rituals make habits softer. They also give your days a shape that welcomes happiness to sit down. Sometimes loneliness grips because life feels lopsided, too much time receiving from others and not enough time offering something of your own, or the other way around. A lovely way to balance that is to practice small exchanges that don't ask much and give a lot. Bring 2 apples on your walk and hand one to the crossing guard with a thank you. Ask the neighbor who always helps with heavy bags if they would let you water their herbs while they're away. Accept a ride to the market, then share your favorite recipe for the greens you bought. These little traits say, I have something to give and I have room to receive. The feeling of being useful and the feeling of being cared for are both antidotes to isolation. Notice how these practices braid together, the circle that remembers your name, the breath that steadies your heart, the song that brings back your courage, the line in your notebook that collects light, the tiny exchange that restores balance. On their own, each strand is gentle. Woven together, they're strong enough to carry you through a quiet afternoon and set you down in an evening that feels companioned. And from that steadier place, it becomes natural to reach for one more path that invites joy to pull up a chair and stay a while. There's a certain sparkle that returns when you give yourself permission to enjoy small things on purpose. That's the heart of this last practice. Make joy a standing date, not a lucky accident. Think of it like penciling in a friendly visitor who always shows up, even if the weather is grumpy and the news is loud. A joy appointment doesn't need to be grand or expensive. It needs to be specific, on the calendar, and tuned to what lights you up. Start tiny and treat it like a promise. 20 minutes is enough. Choose a time that already has a rhythm, right after your morning tea, just before lunch, or as the sun leans across the living room in the late afternoon. Give the time a simple theme that rotates through the week, because variety keeps the mind curious. Maybe Mondays are for music, when you sit by the window and really listen to one song start to finish, eyes closed, breathing slow, letting the melody walk you through an old memory that still feels kind. Tuesdays could be for taste, a little adventure in the kitchen with a new spice on familiar food or a square of dark chocolate allowed to melt without hurry. Wednesdays might belong to a walk, not for exercise records, just for noticing, a different tree, a new dog collar, a house with a door you never paid attention to. On Thursdays, choose talk, call someone whose laugh you like, even if you only have 5 minutes together. Fridays can be for flowers, whether you trim a stem for a jar, draw a loose sketch of the shape you see, or simply sit close and name the colors out loud. It's playful on purpose, and play is medicine. If picking a theme feels like too much, keep a small jar on the table with folded slips of paper inside. Write down simple delights when they occur to you, watch the sky change, polish the teapot, hum a childhood song, water the fern slowly, read one page of poetry, sort a handful of buttons by color, smell the cinnamon jar, look at 3 old photos and tell yourself a story about each one. When your joy appointment arrives, pull a slip and do just that one thing. The jar makes choosing easy, and easy is what keeps a ritual alive. There's a lovely cousin to the joy appointment called a micro-adventure. It's just a fancy name for leaving the usual path on purpose. Walk a block you rarely take and count the blue doors. Sit on a different bench and watch who passes. Bring a small magnifying glass to the garden and explore a single leaf like it's a map. Wear the good scarf to the market on an ordinary day and notice how it changes your posture. Micro-adventures don't chase excitement, they invite freshness, and freshness is a strong antidote to lonely thoughts that loop. When your world offers you a new corner to look at, your mind gently opens to new stories. Some days joy hides, and that's when kindness is your lantern. Do one small thing for someone else with zero fanfare. Slide a friendly note under a neighbor's door, return a wandering cart to its nest, compliment the clerk's earrings, tuck an extra apple into your bag and hand it to the crossing guard with thanks. Acts of kindness pull you into the same warm current you create for others. Without asking, they remind you that you belong in the give and take of the day. If you keep a tiny notebook, write a single line afterward about what you did and how it felt. Over time, the pages read like evidence, you are a person who adds light. If your heart has been carrying a heavy story, a loss that still aches, a friendship that faded, a plan that had to change, let your joy appointment make room for honor, not denial. Choose a gentle ritual that keeps love present in a way that comforts you. Light a candle and say a name. Place a photograph where the morning sun can find it. Bake a recipe that brings a good memory into the room. Sadness and happiness are not rivals, they often hold hands. When you give both a seat at the table, loneliness loses its sharpest edges because you're no longer pushing parts of yourself into the dark. It helps to anchor joy in your senses because the senses are honest, they tell the truth about what is beautiful right now. Keep a small wonder shelf where you place 1 or 2 objects that caught your eye during the week, a smooth pebble, a bright leaf, a ribbon from a gift, a postcard with a color that makes you smile. Spend a few minutes with the shelf during your appointment. Touch the pebble, say the color out loud, notice how the ribbon feels between your fingers. It may sound simple to the point of silly, but the brain loves concrete things. When your attention rests on a real, lovely detail, your thoughts quiet down and the room softens. That's not trivial. That's peace arriving in a small, faithful way. As these practices gather, your 2-minute bridge to people, the purpose you can hold in your hands, the small circle that remembers your name, the calm you teach your body, and this daily appointment with joy, you begin to feel your days catch the light differently. Mornings have a place to begin. Afternoons offer a thread to follow. Evenings fold themselves around a soft ritual that tells your nervous system the day was worth living and tomorrow has a friendly shape. You haven't pretended away the hard parts, you've built a life that can hold them without breaking. If you feel even the faintest nudge to try, start where your feet are. Place a simple date with joy on tomorrow's calendar and keep it as kindly as you'd keep a promise to a friend. Whisper a hello to someone from your past, no explanations needed. Put one purposeful task on the counter where you'll see it and do the smallest possible version. Sit by the light for a minute and breathe out longer than you breathe in. Notice one good thing and tell your notebook. These are not chores to power through. They are small doors back into belonging. I'd love to hear what belonging looks like for you. Tell me in the comments about a joy appointment you plan to keep this week, a circle that's welcomed you in, or a tiny act of kindness that changed the feel of your day. Your story might be the hand someone else needs to take. If this conversation helped, tap like so it can reach another person who's listening for company, and subscribe if you'd like more gentle, practical ways to feel happier and more connected at any age. Here's to days that feel companioned, to hearts that stay curious, and to the quiet courage of choosing one small step toward happiness, again and again, until the path feels familiar and your home feels full. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.